Mic test, mic test, mic test. Am I live? Alright, give me 1 second, guys. I think I'm live now on YouTube, finally. Okay. For some reason, the freaking stream key changed. But anyway, let me reduce the music a little bit. Hold on. Okay, so, hello everybody. If anyone are watching this in the future, just know everything I talked about in this stream will be timestamped in the comments and in the description. We have quite a little bit to go over today, so I wouldn't spend too much time on the news. I'll just go straight into, you know, the thing I need to get through today for EN. And for the news, I'll probably do it on my next stream or something like that. So yeah, stay tuned on that, because there has been a lot of going on in, you know, Iron Saga lately, which I do want to share with people. So, actually, BERSERK collab. Also, hi streamer, hope. Yeah, thank you. Okay, it is not a BERSERK collab, but you know, the thing about Iron Saga is that if a lot of time, I guess the units, or you know, the units are dependent on, yeah, a lot of time on what the developers for the mecha are playing the game. Like for example, Lilith, right? It's obviously Diablos, right? So yeah, it depends on, yeah. I guess yeah, I don't know. Because that's been a trend for Iron Saga for a long time, where when you say, you know, when they either couldn't get a collab, or when they just really like something or don't want to collab, they would just fake collab it, you know. So it's kind of funny. I don't know, just to me it's kind of funny that they do that. It's a bit shameless, I think, but it's fine, I think. Yeah, as long as it is not, you know, just copy, you know, straight up copy and pasting. You know, even though I think a lot of the moves are, you know, can be considered that as well. But anyway, so the only news I want to get into today, before I do that, is they are starting to do rebalancing on some old mecha. And the first one we have now was Obero. Yeah, the first one we have now is Obero, and I'm excited to see, you know, what comes next. Because Obero, you know, although Obero is the reward are not like the best, right? But it had like modern chassis, where comparatively to what it was a huge upgrade. So really excited to see where they take this. They also let me know if I'm too loud versus the sound, okay? So yeah, or okay, very early on when the unit just dropped, people did find that the basis of this model are, you know, Arcane, or like they kind of use Kane as a base model, and then boom, here's a new mecha. Maybe it's a bit lazy on their part or something like that. You know, it could have been, you know, it could have been a new skin for Kane, you know, hopefully. But oh well. The thing is, I never watched BERSERK, so I don't know, you know, how accurate Guts is in this game. But yeah. Well, I mean, it is not collab, so I don't think accuracy matters that much, but yeah. So people has been saying that, you know, it could have just been Kane or Trophy or something like that, but, you know, I think they do earn money if they, you know, use it as like a new mecha, so. And I guess it should be fine, because if they really want to fake like a BERSERK collab, not using an older unit might be the better option, I guess. So yeah. Anyway, some other mega that's been teased for the rebalance. Oh wait, hold on. I don't realize my phone is not on. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, Kaguya rework has been pretty cool, considering how bad Kaguya was back then, right? Or consider how bad Kaguya was or how outdated Kaguya was as a unit. But let's hope that future ones like Asmodeus has never really been, you know, let's say meta, like, even when they come out, I believe. Hopefully Asmodeus can get some crazier buff, because look at how short the chassis is for Asmodeus, man. Like, I'm really excited about Asmodeus rework. And they also talked about Shingetter rework, which is kind of crazy, because, you know, Shingetter has not been really changed since, you know, since the last time, since the last, you know, Shingetter Dragon collab. So I'm very curious on how, you know, how they will change. And because yeah, I think Shingetter does, like, probably should be a lot stronger, right, compared to some of the modern units that we have now, right? So very excited about that as well. So because Shingetter, see, like I never watched Shingetter, but Shingetter as a unit, as a mechanic, is probably my favorite. So this is the main news that I want to get to. There's also other news about the Unsea boycott on Iron Saga for like the past month or so. I don't know if it's still going on, but I'll get into that once everything is settled, okay? So, alright, now I'm gonna watch my own stream to make sure, you know, my sound is fine before I get into the guides and everything, right? Alright, now I'm gonna watch my own stream. Okay, seems like it is fine. So, alright, let's get into, the guides today. We have a lot to get through. I'm gonna go on to Ian Twitter because I want to just make sure I don't, you know, I don't miss anything. Yeah, there you go. Hold on. Alright, so let's start with the things that I know a bit less about, because you know I don't have everything that was in also let me make myself a tiny bit quieter like this. Hopefully that can be a little bit like less loud, hopefully. Anyway. So I guess I'm gonna start with a goddess, but I'm gonna start with Tamamo. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start with Tamamo no Mai, because I don't actually have this unit back in NC. However, I have fought against them and I have seen where they have been used, and the consent or my advice is to not roll for this unit, even if, or unless you like the design. Like if you like the design, it is usable. But compared to everything else that we have, you know, compared to Guts, obviously Guts will be a much better option for most of the modes. But you know, Tamamo is still good in some top PvE teams, depending on the boss. You know, some bosses are resistant to light, you know, or both light and beam, and this is a time where, you know, Tamamo might be able to shine because Tamamo does acid damage. And of course, if you do get this unit, you can also pass, you know, acid travel origin, or not, acid travel origin as well as acid abyss, much easier if you do have this unit. But again, it is not a unit that you should go for if you are new players. It's just like if you have a lot of things saved up and you know what's to come, you know, with all the collab that has been coming, you know, knowing that, oh, Get the Collab is coming soon, Gurren Lagann collab is coming soon. Like, do you have enough for those? And if you do, and if you still like this unit, then I guess you can get it, and you can find uses for it even to this day in NC, because I think the top team DPS right now is still Tamamo. So let me see if I can find it. And you guys can see like the team setup as well for that thing. Oh, wait, hold on. They just buffed Susano. Alright, hold on, give me one second. I need to restart the game real quick. But hold on, actually no, hold on. Let me yeah, I don't break this off, so let me show you guys the thing first. So okay, so hold on. Let me see if I, yeah, there you go. Okay, see look. As a team, and you can see that Tamamo is still the, you know, can still be used as a DPS. So I need to restart my game real quick because I want to check out the buffs on Susano, and I really hope that it is something what's it called? I really hope it is something, not just the same thing as Kagura. So, or because Kagura, I mean, not that the buff is bad, but you know. Come on, load. Yeah. Wow, I did not expect it'll be today, so I guess I'll be making a video rather than stream talking about, you know, or showcasing the buffed Susano. So let's see. Wow. Alright. Come on, Susano. Or hold on, or is it just a skin? I don't remember. Hold on. I didn't see it that quickly. Okay. Buff Susano, what does it look like if you get a buff? Come on, there you go. Yeah, NC always low pretty slowly. So Retrofed, where is Susano? Has it been buffed, or did I just saw something wrong? Where's Susano? Why is this? Hold on. I swear to God, my brain is not working looking at all these units. Susano, where's Susano? There you go, so Susano. It has been buffed. Okay. HP scaling. Okay, hold on. hold on. Let me take a screenshot, and then I'm going to send it to the thing on stream. So okay, yeah, give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I need to show this to the chat and such. This hasn't been posted yet. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, Susano. Buff. No, yeah, don't roll Tamamo. Okay, if you're considering skipping it, then don't roll for don't roll for it. Like if you are thinking about skipping it, then don't roll for it, because those who should roll Tamamo should be someone who, like, I guess, like, wouldn't even consider skipping it. So also I'm live right now. I just got the notification of the buff on stream. Anyway, I see HP FDV scaling again. HP removal 1/24 1/24 chance chance of HP. Okay, so yeah, let me look at it. Wait, hold on. A lot of chance stuff. What the heck? Yeah, okay. A lot of chance stuff. Anyway, I'm back to stream. But yeah, that's surprising though. That's surprising. We got a freaking new rework drop on stream. Okay, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna focus on stream. And yeah, so hold on. Let's go into see if there's any cool move changes. Can you give some idea of what the fun requirement? I'm not rushing, but all the way, but some record PvP. Hold on. Can you give some ideas where to farm better equipments? I'm not rushing, but I am all the way getting close. Loose record PvP. Okay, okay, I don't know where you are at the moment, right? Like, yeah, okay, also hold on. I just realized my stream is at the wrong name on Twitch. Give me 1 second, let me change that. Okay, so, to farm equipments, the best play is to hold on, yeah. The best play is to make sure to do challenges every single day, that if you can. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, so yeah, do challenge every day, and yeah, again, I don't know where you are, but at a certain point, like, yeah, at a certain point, if you already have all 4 farm steals, right, then that would just be playing the game, like playing the event, playing the game, and farming the, yeah, and farming these, and farming the, like the part, well, not this one in particular, but I think at 33, yeah, in 33 we can get a farm steal, I think. No, not this one. Hold on. Where's farm steal? Where can you farm farm steal? I don't remember. But there's a place where you can farm farm steal, wherever that was. Should be this one, right? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you can farm farm steal, if you can get 4 copies of this should be able to get you higher, depending on where you are, right? Like, or if you already have 4 of this, right, then it's really just a point of do events, you know, get better units, get better parts by, you know, farming for, like, for example, cores. That if you find that you can find a core in the challenge, so you can, like, hopefully one day a better core showed up in the court exchange, so you can exchange the weaker parts for for better units, for better core here. For example, right now this is probably a fine deal, I think. So and if not, it's just to do events. Literally just do events, right? Because events will get you where is it? So events can get you boxes, and boxes can potentially give you more, you know, boxes or like parts boxes that can also give you more parts. And some events straight up give you part selection skill, I think, right? Yeah, some event, yeah. See, a lot of events actually do even give you, you know, part selection skill, and that's why just do event, you know, play the game normally. I mean, I know you're not rushing, but definitely, because, you know, this game is not a game that you can rush, like, far from it, especially with recent changes. It's not a game you can rush. Just, if you see an event coming, do the event, and then most of the time the events will give you a lot of, will either give you straight up, like, you know, part selections, or give you a good, special boxes that can increase a lot of, you know, that get you a lot more resources, and usually these are where people get their, you know, gems from, right? And of course, you know, some events are better than the others at that, right? You know, like for example, like this event, you need to farm both of the unit first before you should get the boxes, which would be a lot harder than, you know, some other events where you can just get more stuff, right? All right, also hold on, why is my music not playing? Oh, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, another part is, yeah, I think, okay, in my opinion, I think that is the ways to do it. And if you are at a point where you can access Apex and Zenith, then you should definitely do them as well, because 2v2s can give you boxes that also give you a lot of resources, sometimes straight up moon boxes. Yeah, where is it? Where is 2v2 boxes? Yeah, 2v2 boxes can give you freaking moon boxes where I couldn't even find it, because I think I used them all. But 2v2 boxes that you get from 2v2 modes can get you it. I know that, you know, maybe you couldn't get higher on the mode, but that's fine. Get to as high as you can, and eventually you might be able to get some better, you know, gems from it as well. And then of course, if you try to get as high in Apex as possible, because, you know, you can get a lot more parts from here as well. So yeah, definitely just look on these. You know, do this every day. Eventually you will have enough parts to, you know, do PvPs. So yeah. Hopefully that can, yeah, hopefully that helps you. So again, and if you're, you know, if you're just starting out this game, you know, definitely do challenges, especially at 29, to get a firm seal first. Then after that, it's just mainly just to do event and such, and should be fine. I know you've been watching Showcase since forever. Oh, okay, well, thank you for coming by, though. Thank you. Alright, yeah, glad to have people like that. But anyway, yeah, thank you for coming by. Alright, so we finished talking about Tamamo. So Tamamo, if you are someone who is thinking about skipping it, then skip it. Yeah, if you're thinking about getting it and skipping it, then skip it. People who should be rolling her should already know exactly, you know, what they want it for, right? If you don't know what you want it for, if you don't know, you know, much about it, I guess, then I don't think it is a good fit, especially where you can roll for Hound of Stigma now. And of course, in the future, the collab that may be coming soon, that will also be a lot more, you know, gem heavy, especially for collabs that might not come back, you know, for however many times. Some collab will come in more, like for example, Goddess Paradise collab, or, you know, Riso collab with the Echo of Saga and such. Those will be come back pretty soon because it's their own IP. But if it's IP that is a bit more obscured, then I think you should probably save gem for that if you want to collect more stuff. Because usually new collab units with like an outside IP are usually meta defining. For example, you know, Gunbuster, right? Gunbuster will be a very good thing to save on if you want to, right? So, and Gunbuster, for those who might not know, is this thing, right? So, for example, if you want, like, might be better to save for this unit, you know, instead of, you know, like Tamamo, or something like that, right? So, but anyway, so that should be Tamamo. Again, it can be a top PvP PvE DPS, but again, that would really be that in the hands of top PvE players, right? In top PvP, then it is definitely not better than, you know, even probably the ones that you have now. If you are in top PvP, Tamamo might not be a better unit than, you know, what you have already. So, but it could probably be a good Apex or Zenith unit, because I don't think they'll get banned that much in those modes. So. But anyway, alright, so that should be Tamamo, and let's get into what's next. So we can go to Goddess Paradise or Bassam. Let's get into the Goddess Paradise first. And of course we're gonna get over, you know, the new Awakening as well. How's Stigma? Yeah, but mostly good mostly. Yeah, if you if you want to stick around until Hound Stigma, because I have a lot to say about Hound Stigma, and I'm probably making it into a video as well. So, okay, so we're talking about Goddess Paradise unit. So, first I want to just show you guys the pilot that you need is literally free. Like, you just get it. You just log in and get it for free and be done with it, because she's an amazing co-pilot, regardless who you are. Like, literally, regardless who you are, she is an amazing, you know, co-pilot. I also hope this is safe to, you know, also she's safe to freaking show. But anyway, okay, so I am going to use the unsee text for my translate, or for, you know, if you want to see a translation, just go to your in yourself. But I'm gonna use Chinese because, or the Chinese text, because it is more accurate than most of the time than what English said, and I'll just translate what, or I'll just paraphrase what each move does, and you can see if it's the correct, you know, you can see how it is worded in English. If it's, you know, the same thing, then good. If it's not the same thing, then there might be some mistranslation happening, but it doesn't matter, because I'll just show you guys, you know, what skills are important and what skills are good. So first skill is not bad of an active skill compared to, you know, a lot of units, but it is definitely a unit that you should probably, or a skill that you should probably skip. Plus, it's not callable because her most important things are her 3 co-pilots, or her 2 co-pilot skills. Her second skill, if you want to use her as a main pilot, if you're new players, then I think that's pretty good as well. But again, it's mainly just for new player territories. Now, these 2 skills, the special and the attack, these are top DPS skill. Like, yeah, her attack is still the top DPS skill today for free pilot, and that is an incredible feat for a free pilot, you know, basically. And of course, yeah, for top PvE, obviously, she'll be usually used as a DPS for top PvE units. Her special can probably also be used as a PvE DPS as well, but I think if you have an attack, you will be using her attack. And of course, because what's it called? I don't think it'll be possible. I think it'll be better co-pilot skill if the pilots that you have, like for example, if you're using Linda, right? Linda does not have, so I'm gonna go to Linda, right? Linda does not have attack, right? Linda doesn't have attack, but depending on the mecha, right? Depending on the mecha, her self reduction might be better than her special. Again, depending on the mecha, right? Like for example, on Zio, probably she is better. Yeah, on Zio, probably she is better. But on some other unit, like let's say, KT, the blue fire guy, then self reduction will probably be good for Linda. So, however, this is not just for PvE. It is also usable in PvP as well, especially if you lack PvP co-pilots. Like these 2 co-pilots are better than like 90% of the co-pilots, in the whole games. Now, even though in top PvP people might not be using these 2 co-pilots, but again, if you don't have, you know, all of the good co-pilot skills that, you know, everyone have, then these 2 co-pilot skill, both of them could be useful in top PvP, or in PvP, or probably not in top PvP, but in PvP overall, if you don't have, you know, a better units, right? In top PvP, you probably already have, or if you're at a point where you're in top PvP, then you probably have better co-pilot skills. So, but again, for free pilot, that's amazing. Like, if you haven't played this game for a long time, or if you haven't played this game for like a few months, probably should log in to just to get this pilot, so you can get like a good co-pilot skill, probably for the next few years potentially, right? So, but again, she for now, if you're a top player, an end game player, then it is mainly her attack for, you know, for top PvE players. And if you don't care about PvE, then yeah, she might be like a good co-pilot in Apex or something. So that's the first pilot done, and the second pilot is actually, the paid one is actually not as great. I mean, it's still good, especially in PvE, especially in PvP, but or just using her as a main pilot. But in my opinion, I think the free one is actually a bit better. So Is Griffith gonna replace Banner or HOS? Griffith I think will be, hold on, when is Griffith gonna be done? Give me 1 second, right? Other character as will in free skin. Yeah, I think. Alright, so hold on, let me see. I think, okay, so I don't know what the English schedule would be, but if I remember correctly, Griffith was on Banner 2, so I don't know, but I also don't think they will come in the next 20 days, so I think definitely, just, how do I say, assume it will come, especially, you know, with the free rolls, because back in NC we can't use these free rolls. Like if you save these, we can't use these free rolls on what's called on Griffith. So if you are planning to get Griffith, then you know, definitely, or Griffin or whatever. Jesus Christ, I don't know how to say the freaking names of those things, but yeah, Griffith, if you want it, definitely get it. And I definitely think Griffith is a better unit than Tamamo, because Griffith is a bit more versatile, right? In PvP, PvE, and it's still used to this day. You can still use it to this day as DPS. Well, probably not now, because, you know, with the chibi mechas now, that has broken stats, but for a long time, you know, she is, you know, Griffith is still a top DPS in PvE, and of course being, you know, usable, very much usable in PvP. And okay, so now let's get into Poseidon. First skill is not too bad, but you know, or like first skill is pretty good at adding, you know, layers for her skills. But usually are the one that's good, because you know the layers that you give to enemies, you know, doesn't matter depending on the levels. And second skill, in defense, again, it's a pretty good defensive skills if you don't have better units, because it is a flat, you know, 21% fan damage reduction. That can never go wrong. And of course, 3.5 seconds, you know, it will create like a little wave of water, which I don't think will matter that much into this meta, but it can probably but it probably matters a lot in limited arena, depending on, you know, the mecha now. Like in you know, like I guess 8 rank arena can probably be like the skill can probably do something. So, and for attack, ice attack. Now, okay, so this is the reason why most people use her as a main pilot, because oh wait, Kofi is on. Oh, okay, no, never mind. I thought it was a boss. So, when she just released, her co-pilot is able to activate without, you know, without how do you say, without her other skill because of a bug. But now that the bug is fixed, yeah, it's not that. Yeah, now that the bug is fixed, you kind of want both, you know. You kind of want both to be together in order for it to work. Now, special, you know, for special, I think can still work without it, but her attack one definitely isn't that, you know, isn't that great until we have an ice, you know, yeah, until we have an ice DPS. If we ever have an ice DPS, then, you know, her attack will probably be a very good attack for that. But until then, you can probably use her special or use her, you know, defense as a good, I guess, just good survivability skills. What's called, yeah, good survivability skill in what's called in PvP. So, and yeah, I don't think she's worth the money. Yeah, I don't think she's worth the money. There are better alternatives, or yeah, there are usually better alternatives for in most cases. And like Shuri, I don't think she will really be that useful until ice DPS come out for her attack. So yeah. But if you want to get her, you can use her as a main pilot if you want to, but, you know, she wouldn't be as strong as, you know, some of the, you know, modern Awakens, right? So, yeah. Alright, so that should be it about Poseidon. Save her money, because, you know, Goddess Paradise is their own IP. So, you know, they won't have any problem rerunning this IP, so definitely, don't worry about it if you don't get her in this thing. Save your resources. Eventually, you know, you might get her, so yeah, definitely Stigma. Plus, you know, you don't need her. Like no player at any stage would require to use her. So yeah. All right, so I think that should be the goddess pilots. Now what do we have to talk about again? Alright, yeah, Bat Samurai. So Bat Samurai retrofit. How is Bat Samurai retrofit? I just say it's a toy mostly. It does, like, you know, he did get, you know, that good amount of buffs on his action and on his chassis to be more modernized, but, you know, I don't think it's modernized enough. You know, like, there's no HP scaling with like, or there's no final damage value increase with, you know, with HP and such. There's no other, you know, stuff, or I guess there's no, like, something too I think he have a get out of jail skill. Yeah, he does have a get out of jail skill. However, I think he doesn't. If I'm correctly, he only turn invisible and not immune to damage. So that means if he is in like a wave of attack, like a AoE attack of Great Zeomer, then yeah, I think he is dead regardless what happens, right? However, he is used a little bit along with Tao in Zenith, because in Zenith is a bit more chill. You know, there's no huge AoEs yet, and because there's a lot more stealth at this new retrofit, what's called Tao is able to you know, be literal assassins with this unit in Zenith most of the time. But of course, you know, as Zenith's meta grows, you know, eventually he'll fall out of the meta if everyone start using, you know, freaking you know, like, better units, or, you know, like, if one Hound of Stigma is probably enough to deal with, you know, to deal with this thing. So, but of course, I think Hound of Stigma will be banned for a while, or like not banned in the next one, but like will be banned when it can be banned. So yeah, during those times, you know, you can probably use this unit as an assassin with Tao in Zenith. Other than that, yeah, it is not a unit anyone should freaking go for. Like, definitely, if you're a new player, doesn't matter, or actually no, doesn't matter what player you are, unless you already have maxed out Bat Samurai, don't even consider getting this unit. Especially don't consider getting this unit from scratch. It is not worth it. There's nothing about this unit being good in PvE either. It's mainly mostly Tao strong. Tao Awaken strong does stealth unit plus Tao Awaken make Tao Awaken assassinate enemy units. So yeah, it is more Tao than Bat Samurai. So now let's get in. So now let's get into how to build this unit for those who does have it. So we are building it as an assassin. Then put us here. Then put us a bit here, and let me actually expand the chat for YouTube a little bit. There you go. So also, if I get any questions, you know, I will answer them. You know, I'll answer them after I get through something. All right. So also, you know, please consider liking and sharing this video or this stream. So all right. So starting from the core, definitely going for the purple joint, because even though for this build you're relying on the one-shot potential for Tao Awaken, it can still dish out a lot of multi-hits, and I mean, not that multi-hits matters, but like, it still require it to spam actions in order to, you know, get more stealth, and, you know, or just, you know, activate more of his chassis. And because of that, using a core that reduces action cooldown would be necessary. Would be quite necessary compared to, you know, some other parts, because, you know, he's not a unit where it's fine if you just exist. He's a unit that had to go in, you know, to do stuff to the opponents for it to, you know, activate its effect. So yeah, usually I'll be using this purple joint, and now for the bullets, I'll be using just some HP recovery, because, you know, you never know. You know, combine this with Tao's, you know, ability to do a lot of damage, you can potentially get more HP back. You know, even though I am using Pisces, I don't know, something about me feels just want to have another layer of protection, you know, against, I guess, just something that can break through the shield of Pisces and such, right? Of course, if you think Pisces is done already, that's fine already, then of course you can use some other ones, like what other ones might be good? Just some generic PvE ones like this one, like, right? Just something that adds more found damage value increase, or even this one, you know, to reduce action cooldown. Now that I don't think this really matters in Zenith at the moment, but in you know, in main game mode, some people has been using, you know, these things again. But I guess it would just go for your general PvP, you know, PvP parts. Maybe this one might even work as well. So, but for now, I am personally gonna be using absorb shell, just in case, you know, just in case, because you don't really need damage. You only just need, you know, Tau to get some luck, to get a lucky hit in, and you should be fine mostly. Oh yeah, this one, if you have this one, you can probably use it. Probably a better choice than absorption, than absorb parts, but I'm using absorb part just for safety reasons. So, because again, I don't need damage. And then now for the supports, for support, I'm definitely using this little battery looking thing, just for more survivability increase. If you don't have this unit, obviously you can use something like emergency detach and such. That can definitely work as well. But other than these two, I don't think there is any other ones that you should use, unless you're, of course, unless you're a new player. Actually, hold on, I should probably get yeah, new players shouldn't get this unit, so I wouldn't get into new players built for this unit. Again, a new player, just look away for this part. You don't want to get this unit. I'm just talking about those who does have this unit somehow. So, and then now for the armor is mainly just from sale. There isn't any other ones that you should really go for, because again, it is very fragile despite all the stealth and everything. So yeah, just in case it doesn't die from a freaking splash damage from a map wide AOE from sale, you want to use it. And of course for the coatings, I'm definitely using Gaia, because the Gaia can potentially heal you, or should be the best PvE part or PvP parts now, because of the, you know, the defense increase when you get knocked down, and of course the heals that comes from it. So yeah, just additional survivabilities. Also, sorry, I was reading the chat a little bit, so my brain went off a little bit. So sorry if I sound that a little bit broken off. Anyway, the pets, obviously Pisces, because, you know, it can, you know, get Pisces, or that can get a lot of damage from what's called, from Tau Awaken, and of course just, you know, it doing just more damage, and of course it can just help Tau survive a little bit longer, you know, because, you know, it is Tau and it is Bad Samurai, so who knows what will happen, right? And for the co-pilot skill, I'm using her this unit's tech, or this Fox Girl's tech, because her tech it's just, you know, when you're not doing damage, you'll be healing HP, and I feel like there'll be a lot of times where, you know, where this unit is getting CC a lot and not be able to damage, and this can potentially help it survive a little bit longer. So that's the reason why I use that. So yeah, that is the build and the philosophy between, you know, behind all the parts that I talked about, or that I think should work. Of course, you know, if you have something similar to this, or if you want to share your own build, feel free to do that. I just think, you know, for me, if I were to be using this one, this is what I will be going for, because it is the safest, and it is just, you know, for the most amount of potential. Of course, you know, depending on the team, depending on enemy teams, some build will be better, because, you know, it'll be more suitable for the teams. But the reason why I'm using this is because it's more generalistic, that where you wouldn't go wrong if you're not facing against something, you know, more specific, I guess. So, all right. So let me read the chat to see organizers for all you wait, hold on. Oh, you can show the for 3 character Ghoster want a new skin. You showed us for the 3 character that will be very soon in the global. Wait, what do you mean by bunny skins? I don't think I remember. But I mean, if it will come to, you know, look, if it will come to global soon, right? Then I'll just wait for that, so I don't spoil it for you guys. So yeah. I think I probably got the unit, but it is somewhere else. Yeah, it is somewhere. So, but anyway, let's get to let's get to the new pilot Awaken, which is, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it's the Archduchess something 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 started with A, right? Now she is a very, very good pilot Awaken for PvP, but you can also use her in PvE as well. Mainly with team with Spike, which Spikes exist now in EN because, you know, the mysterious collab, right? So if you have Spike, then she's also usable in PvE. And maybe even without Spike, she's probably usable as well, but probably less so, I think. Or maybe equally so, but, you know, yeah, she will be pretty good, you know, in PvE if you know how to, you know, use her, because she will usually be the one, like, she'll usually be the funnel, you know, for the boss. Like, she will die to the boss in order to buff the teams. And for PvP though, she's just a good all-round, you know, team buffers, you know, team protectors at the beginning, sort of ish. And of course, it got self. I think it was the first unit that has self anti-force CCs built in within the skill, which is pretty good, because, you know, anything with anti-force CC are pretty strong. And the anti-force CCs I'm talking about are force knockdowns, are the action that you would do when you hit a clone for cheating and neutral fit. It is the thing that is spin from the little spin. You know, those are the force CC that can get you out of action, because it forces your unit to perform in bad actions, right? She is the first unit that has the built-in resistance to that, so that's pretty cool. And she just all around can be tanky, you know, can be offensive as well for that. But most importantly, she can also buff allies based on her stats. So, all right, so let's get into her active skill. Active skill, nothing too crazy, just, you know, damage and, you know, destroy shields. But, you know, most skills like this might be useful in limited arena, in A rank or something like that. But, you know, of course, it will depend on enemy teams. And the second skill is the one with a built-in anti-force action, I guess, interruptions, I guess. So, when you get 7 attack, you will gain 1 layers of, I guess, fearlessness, and you can get max of 4. And it will also it will also cleanse you of negative debuffs and heal you for 3%. And on the next, oh, hold on, sorry. Yeah, the next time when you use an action that has over 8-second cooldown, it will use all of the layers in order to get, you know, 1.4 second of the anti-CC abilities, while also increase the damage, while also increasing the final damage value by 30 to 36%. Now that's pretty crazy, because it guarantees your, or I guess if you get hit enough, it guarantees your big moves, right? The moves that's over 8 seconds will not be interrupted by enemies cheating, by enemies, you know, by enemies, you know, other force, you know, knockdown and such, right? It will help you against that, and that's a huge plus into this meta where force knockdown is everywhere, because again, force knockdown count as one of that as well. So, pretty good, pretty cool. Definitely a unit that I will be even using even till today. Like, depending on the enemy team, right? I might still use this. I might still use her just because of the skill. And for sure, definitely in, you know, in Zenith or in Apex if I can use her. So, yeah. And then now to the second skill. You know, pilot skill. All pilot skill up by 24%, and after 1 second of, you know, appearing on the field, it will, I guess, buff yourself based on the reaction, I think. Wait, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, it will get buffs based on different types of you know, the 4 different types of stats. You know, for melee stats, it will increase melee final damage value. Again, final damage value, that's pretty good. And I don't think there's limits for that, so you can get it to very high. You can probably get a very high of that. For defense, it will increase, you know, final defense, and for reaction, it will increase freaking action cooldown. That's crazy. That's just crazy, because again, there are no limits on this as far as I know. So like if you can stack a lot of this using certain skills or using certain builds, it can potentially buff herself and of course all the allies a lot as well, because you know for every 90 points of the for every 90 points of the stats, it will also give 1% of the same skill to allies, or half of it to allies. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that is pretty good. Well, look, it's not something that is too high, but in the PvE setting, even just these little percentage would be, might make a difference, in the long run, because there are the whole 2 minutes to run through on a boss, and having like 10% or like nearly 10% action cooldown increase, or nearly 10% action or like melee final damage increase can be a big DPS changer on the boss. And of course in PvP the final defense will also be very, very useful, and of course just most of the buff there will be useful for that if you can get the stats very high. In fact, when the pilot I guess the pilot limit break comes out, like this thing, like we can get it over the 195, she is usually the first pilot to be maxed to 135 level, because just because they want more stats for the pilots for for this skill for both PvP and PvE. So yeah, just to show you guys how strong this skill is for the for the teammate buffs. Okay, now on to the last skill. Last skill is also not too bad, especially honestly in both PvP and PvE as well. It will give when she appears on the field, she will give all the allies on the field a 5-second G mode, and it will also what's called reduce damage by 50% for all allies, and after 5 seconds she will still retain some of the buffs, and for each affected units from that, it will also increase the damage for her by 3%. Wait, hold on, Jesus Christ, I read it wrong. It will also increase it also increased the damage reduction for her by 3%. So not only does she get a good amount of defensive increase even after 5 seconds, at least at the beginning, everyone get G mode. Now that G mode is nothing too crazy. I mean, still good to have, like still a very good skill to have, but it is nothing too crazy now. However, this can really help you not be burst down at the beginning. Not that burst. Well, I mean, I don't know if bursts are still prevalent in this meta, but this can really help you not to be burst down because of G mode. Because you're immune to a lot of stuff, and you also have a lot of damage reduction, so you are guaranteed to not die then, and not be CC'd then as well. So maybe you can start your team's momentum faster than the enemy's teams who doesn't have this unit. So yeah, very, very strong, very, very, very good skill. And of course in PvE, now that in PvE, if you're using her as a funnel, it will make her less likely to die against the bosses, but the 5% G mode might also help for your unit not to be burst down by the bosses as well. So yeah, double-edged sword, I think, is for PvE, but for those who are using her in PvE, they should know what they're doing far better than I do. So they will use her accordingly depending on the boss, depending on the situation. But for PvP, then it will be just a good anti-burst, and of course just damage reduction for herself, and of course just good skill. And for PvE players, I think she's definitely a must-have, or for top PvP players, she's a must-have. For now, like, she wouldn't be as necessary for PvP later down the time, but she is still more than likely usable than a lot of the other Awaken pilots that we have, right? And of course, what we're gonna say, but for regular players, I think for other if you're not top PvP player but you still play PvP, then still Awaken Hongwu first. Hongwu is this dude, is this old dude here. Still Awaken Hongwu first, because Hongwu is a bit more versatile in PvP. So because a lot of the units require Hongwu to work. So definitely get, you know, definitely get Hound first, or, you know, some other more mechanically necessary ones first. Like maybe even Knight might be a better one. Well, given Knight is not in EN yet, or like a good support pilot, like for example, you know, Rhea and such, right? So yeah, definitely like for non-top players, or for the player who might be a bit, you know, tight on resources, definitely get the essential Awakens first before you get her. But the moment you have extra resources for her, then I think you definitely get her, unless unless the Black Knight is about to come out, unless he is about to come out, unless he is about to release. If his Awaken is about to release, then you probably should say for him, because she can also like cover a lot of units' like weaknesses for it to work. Because for her, right, she doesn't exactly make the unit works. She mainly make the units better, and usually you'll be using her on a unit, like for example on Hound Stigma, who already can do everything even better. That's her role, is to amplify the mecha, compared to roles of, you know, Knight, or compared to roles of Knight or what's called, or Hongwu, where some units requires them to work. So yeah. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and if that does, I think it's time to move on to the new unit today, which is Hound of Stigma. Alright, it's been a long time, but finally we are at Hound of Stigma. So Hound of Stigma. I'll probably be making this into a video as well. So the biggest thing for Hound, oh, top people, welcome. So the biggest thing for Hound of Stigma is the roar. In EN, I believe it's just called War Roar. Now EN have a long freaking, you know, explanation. I'm not gonna go through all of that. You got the, you know, the usual final damage reduction and such, but those can read it yourself. But what the roar does is kind of crazy. It entices every single range unit in the game that relies on physical projectiles, and it also entices every single melee in the game, because it force knockdown anyone nearby when the melee, you know, when the roar is triggered. So you can kind of know how good this unit is, right? That's its chassis 1. That means a new players who just get this unit to 5-star is able to access this skill, and can probably steamroll through the entire story using this skill, even with bad builds, just because it freaking counters every single things at the moment in this game, which is kind of crazy. And the melee knockdown thing isn't just force knockdown at close range, right? It also applies regular knockdowns at long range. And the thing is, and the funny thing about that is, let's say if he's facing against a ranged unit, right? Let's say if he's facing against Tamamo Mai, right? Tamamo Mai shoots freaking, shoots her, right? Or shoots Hound of Stigma. Freaking all the bullets that, you know, that can be destroyed from Tamamo will be destroyed. Only the beams will be left, and the beam probably is enough to kill freaking, you know, Hound of Stigma. I mean, probably could, but if you have a good build, you probably wouldn't, right? Then the roar, not only it will destroy all the bullets on the field, it will also do a regular knockdown on Tamamo Mai. Now, if it is in the iframe or something like that, then it probably wouldn't trigger. But if somehow in whatever luck it didn't, right, it might just get knocked down regularly, which probably hasn't happened in regular PvP for a long time now. That would be kind of crazy. So, and of course that's modern PvP. If you're using this unit in regular stages, right, then the entire field is gonna get knocked down, because, you know, this skill is just that good. For the close by one, that is guaranteed knockdown, and for the longer ones, right, in regular PvP, I don't think they have anti-knockdown, so all of them will be knocked down as well, and deal damage to them too. So it's kind of crazy how this one roar move counters every single melee in the game, and majority of the range in the game, because majority of the range now relies on physical projectile. Like, you need funnels, you need freaking, you know, missile, you need like the bullets on the field to go into the enemies, and less relying on about, you know, big beams now. So yeah, that's kind of crazy, you know, that's kind of crazy how this roar does every single thing. There's a reason why in the EN comments I actually commented here as well. The roar here, the C1 roar can deal with a lot of stuff. And it didn't. I don't think even sets in this roar. In this thing, and it is to a point where future units requires anti-Hound Sigma, or requires their projectile to not be destructible, to counter or to work against Hound Sigma, because Hound Sigma is just so, because it's every 4 seconds. Every 4 seconds clears the entire field of projectiles. No freaking range can live in that kind of in those kind of conditions unless you can kill Hound Sigma in within 4 seconds, which is really hard considering Hound Sigma is a tank. Like, it literally have a combat mechanics. So even without anything. So like, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how it covers every single thing. So again, in top PvP, okay, so this unit was quote unquote nerfed, along with a lot of other units because of the bugs where it will get like double amount of the survivability in top PvP. But even then, it didn't change the fact that the Roar can still do all the things that it can do. Now, it might not survive as long against another Hound Sigma or against a Grifter, or against the Grifter who can probably one-shot them from combo along with their anti force actions. But aside from that, I guess aside from that, it can still do just everything that it can do, into this meta. So freaking, I don't really think Cycle, or I guess when this unit come on NC, Cycle of Cycle is gone because it just couldn't do damage because of the Roar. So yeah. And of course, the melee damage or the force nada at close range is also just shows how important it is for someone like her, because she can prevent that force knockdown from her second skills. So yeah. So unless you're going in, so if you were to go in with a freaking Hongwu to well on this guy, then the Hongwu is gonna get knocked out. Well, Hongwu, after he get knocked out, he'll come back up. So for Hongwu should be passable. But let's say for another unit, right? For another, just your regular average Joe, freaking your regular average Joe of what PvP team out there? Your regular average Joe of fucking Shensheng, right? There's no chance. There's no freaking chance that I can survive against that, right? Maybe Great Zero can do something, because Great Zero usually keep a distance and normal KD probably wouldn't KD it, as well as the banishment can probably do it. But other than that, a lot of other units that doesn't have unique properties like these are gonna probably get screwed because of the chassis alone. And we're only talking about this Roar still. So yeah. But anyway, that's the main reason why I think it is so good for new players, because look, in top PvP it might not be as good as when it come out, in NC, or even back in NC, right? Grifter or some other units are more popular than Hound Sigma, because a lot of range have anti bullet destruction and such, right? Even then, for a new player though, even though Grifter or some future units are better, then yeah, I better. Hold on. Why is the Kofi stream bot posting a thing? Whatever. So even though Grifter, even though those new OP units, Gunbuster are probably also good for new players, I think. But let's say some other units that let's say just some of the future units, right? Even though they might be more preferable in PvP, or in top PvP, it doesn't change the fact that Hound Sigma is still the best compared to them for a new player, just because of the situation you can deal with, right? Grifter might be good for the spammings, right? But what happens if it, if you build it not as great, right? You might just lose, even on a simple freaking PvE stages for new players, right? And the best thing is, we're only talking about the PvE side and the PvE for, against, like in regular PvEs, right? If you want to do events or, just, get through stages, right? The biggest thing is that it is also quadruple purpose for even in high rank PvE as well. Yeah, even in high rank PvE as well. Because this Roar, again, I told you, Forks knockdown, bullet destruction works against bosses. Of course, if the boss also have anti, if future boss also have the units that have anti, ammo destruction, then then that wouldn't work. But even just just a close range force knockdown are already an incredible skill to force CC the enemies. So you can use her, you can use Hanosuma as a tank, you know, as a tank, to constantly get knocked, you know, constantly get hit by the boss and knocking the boss down for your DPS to do damage. Not just that, not just that, because how Stigma itself, if you get it to enough, you know, stars, right? Let's say you get it to 8 star, but you skip his weapons. It is able to beat the DPS as well. Not the best DPS, right? But close to it. Because I think it is only about 10% less DPS than Griffith if you have like the maximum build, which is, you know, incredible. Because again, Griffiths are a PvE, you know, are the best normal type DPS for a long time, until it was dethroned recently, right? So, that means Hanosuma is right behind that as well. So, yeah. And we're only talking about his first chassis so far. Well, for the DPS, it's also because of his second chassis, because, you know, his second chassis also scale final damage value percentage with his HP. That means HP builds his back, bro. So, yeah. Okay, but one thing about how Stigma is, if you're only using PvE against bosses, well, look, if you're doing stages and stuff like that, then get the weapons too. Or I guess getting weapon is fine. Not that you should get the weapon. Weapon should be his last, but if you are using this unit as a boss CC and you don't have it as at, I guess, higher stars, then skip his weapons, because his weapon will you know make the boss go all over the place, and it will be harder for your DPS or for your own Hanosuma to do damage to for that. So yeah, I'm just gonna show that thing. Yeah, let me see if I can show that weapon. So yeah, you can also see the weapon. Yeah, you don't want, like, that is fine, but you don't want it to use the other one. You don't want it to use the freaking yeah, this one. You don't want it to use this, because again, you know, your DPS is gonna have a hard time fighting the boss if the boss is getting, you know, tossed around like that. So yeah, but yeah, what else? Okay, and of course, second chassis. Oh no, still on the first chassis. Yeah, we're still on the first chassis. He got. I don't know if it is a get out of jail card or get out of jail skill. I think the roar itself is a get out of jail skill, because let's say if you're in a grab and that thing triggered, then it will force knockdown the guy that was grabbing you. So that's kind of the force knockdown. But the other part that can keep it surviving a little bit more is the 2-second damage immunities that will go into, you know, whenever I guess, yeah, whenever I think it takes damage, right? No, wait, hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah, whenever it uses the roars, right, it will not, like, its HP will not go down. That's I think one of the best form of damage immunity. Now, the property of this is kind of weird, because it kind of is less about damage reduction. Like, hold on, let's see how this is. Yeah, HP will not decrease. Now, it will decrease in the sense of it saves where your HP was at, and it will just constantly healing back to that HP. That means if somehow, like, let's say if you're at very low HP, and if the enemy is able to do enough damage, then the rubber banding back of the HP, you can actually die in these durations. But that's very rare circumstances, but I want to put it out there in case if you experience it, if you experience that, right? So for now, just know this is a very, very good defensive skill. It's literally a 2-second, I think, right? Yeah, 2-second damage, like immunity, almost nearly, that can trigger every 4 seconds. So like so you only have 2-second window to damage it. So just imagine Tamamo might able to do something against this guy, right? Or just, you know, a lot of them, even the future units against this guy, right? So yeah, so, you know, its first chassis covers everything, counters nearly everything in the game. Also debuff enemy, right? Yeah, I didn't even talk about the debuffing of the pilot stats. And as you know, her skill also had to deal with pilot stats. So that means they will be paired, you know, even better with each other, because, you know, I think this guy, takes enemy stats and give it to yourself. So if you are using, you know, her, then she can activate even better of her, you know, third skill. That's gonna be pretty good synergy. yeah, pretty good synergy. And what else? What else? And of course, yeah. For the second chassis, aside from the final damage increase or final damage increase with HP, when his HP go under 30 seconds, it will go into a 15 seconds of kind of like I don't know how to say it in English. What is it in English? Harness of intimidation or something like that. Yeah, something. It'll go into a mode where it will constantly be healing 3% HP per second for 30 seconds. That's basically getting back to full HP as if it is not taking damage. But it is most likely going to be taking damage. But let's say in regular PvE modes, right? If like let's say a new player pushing through stages, you don't even need heals, because whenever they go down to 30% HP, it would just have a 30 second time where it will just get most of its HP back, and it can trigger constantly, I believe, as long like within a certain cooldown. So hold on, let me just make sure I'm reading it right. Okay, I don't know if there's a cooldown on the. Okay, oh, never mind. Okay, so the HP recovery is 15 seconds. So okay, but the gap between that is 30 seconds. But I think in regular PvP, if a new player got this unit for regular PvE, right, then I think it is pretty hard for most PvE units to do enough damage to freaking to kill Hound of Stigma before the 30-second cooldown is over, because it will just heal what's called like 3 times 15. How much is that? It's like 45% HP back. So yeah, good luck on that. Freaking PvE bosses or regular PvE stages. Yeah. Not to mention, during that durations, you will also be using, 2 phantom attacks on the enemies. That basically is literally on the enemies. So yeah, that's gonna be even harder. Plus, it also freaking get a 70% phantom damage reduction. I don't know what they're thinking when they're designing these units, but yeah, imagine killing these things in any, regular PvE stages, and yeah. So, but anyway. I hope that shows how strong or how good this unit is for top for new players, but just know that for top players, it might not be as strong as when it come out on C because of the quote-unquote nerfs. But most units are nerfed, right, for that reason. But so I think it can still be, because everyone is nerfed. I think the only difference is that some older units might be able to do some more stuff and not be completely destroyed by this unit. So yeah. But again, new player, that's just pretty good. And for the weapons, it got sword, it got fist. That's honestly enough, because having sword and having fist opens up you to a lot of builds and other skills that you can use, and that's pretty good, awesome enough. For DPS. So. And now for his action, his action is actually one of the least freaking matter, for this thing, because of the chassis are just so good. Because again, he doesn't need to do anything. You exist on the field and you are already killing the enemy team by not allowing enemy to freaking get up and not allowing the enemy to shoot anything. And his action is kind of just trivial, because you don't even. I mean, it still needs action for the iframes, right? Between the damage immunity, between the roars, it still need to try to do something in order to get be in a state of immunity until the next roar cooldown is done and such, right? You still need to do that. But aside from that, yeah, like it can literally be constantly CC'd and it still be fine. And it will still be benefiting to the team because it just exists on the field. So yeah, pretty awesome. But for this unit, you definitely want to have 7-star, because you want the second HP, you want the second chassis, and you also want the action, because as I said before, you still need to do something. You still need to do something during the times where, during the very short times that the freaking where his broken chassis isn't active at the moment. So and of course, if you depending on your build, these are all without builds at the moment, right? Depending on the build, using these actions, these powerful actions, will also be able to trigger a lot of the skills and our damage and a lot of pilot skills, and it will just become a unit of just pure, literally guts enemy. I don't know how strong guts is in Berserk, but probably as strong as guts in the anime. you know, if not stronger, maybe. So anyway, let's get into the builds. And sorry for, you know, talking about for so long, because I really need to, you know, set the ideas of how strong it is and how you should probably not roll Tamamo Mai, because Tamamo Mai has nothing against this thing. Now again, Tamamo Mai is still used in top PvE now, right? So does that mean it's, you know, like, does that mean Hound Stigma is less worth? No, I don't think so, because Tamamo Mai is too specific, right? It's too specific for the players. Like, it will only matters for the players who actually knows how to use her and have, you know, all the gaming knowledge and the money even to build a whole asset team in order to make her work. Well, for Hound Stigma, pretty sure people still use Hound Stigma in Zenith and in Apex because it's just too hard to pass up, right? So yeah. Broken unit even without builds. All right, so now let's get into the builds. Now the pilots, obviously I'm using is a new Awaken pilot for her because, you know, there's too much synergy, right? The stats increase, and of course you got, you know, the action, the force action, you know, anti-force CC. So if you are fighting against another, you know, another Hound of Stigma, right, and if you're using her on it, then when your Hound of Stigma does, you know, the action as long as you have a lineage, and it can be immune to the Hound of Stigma's force knockdown at close range. So just give you a little protection there. Some people does use, okay, so back then people actually used Ying Qi, but the thing about Ying Qi is that this was built upon Ying Qi when the defense, you know, bug is still there, like the damage negation is still there. Now that the damage negation is gone, I am not so keen on enemies targeting Hound of Stigma that much, right? So I don't want the whole 4 units targeting, you know, targeting you know, Hound of Stigma. So I think the safest one is still to be using her, because, you know, using Ying Qi might be a little bit too depend on your luck, right? If you're not in top PvP, then I don't think that matters. But I think even in not top PvP, you kind of still want to use her just for the better synergy, you know, overall. So all right, so PvP build, because she, you know, because Hound Stigma can just be good by just existing, I am gonna be using freaking this one because it can, at this point, like, you don't need, yeah, this thing, okay, so this adds HP, which can increase its final damage, you know, value. And as I said before, it's actually are nothing too crazy, it's just something there to, you know, to fill the gap between the actions, right? Or between the chassis, right? So using this core, not only can it, you know, reduce the damage, like it increases survivability for yourself and potentially your ally as well, if, you know, you are close with the ally and the enemy are also close to you as well. And of course, the damage increase can also increase, you know, both its survivability and its final damage increase because of the HP scalings. So that's pretty good. And now for the bullets are a bit more divisive, I think, because the bullets, a lot of them work. Oh, another thing is that a lot of things works. A lot of things. So actually, yeah, hold on. Yeah, for the cores, right? Yeah, and I think I will go for a new player, you know, build as well. So for the core, of course, this core I think is the best overall. But there's nothing stopping you from using the green core to heal even more. You know, when you go over, you know, when you get less than, you know, 3%. Now, I don't think that's the heal might stack, but at least this heal doesn't last for, you know, 30 seconds. So after this initial heal, he will still be, you know, it will still be healing. He will still be healing using, you know, with his chassis, so it should be fine. So the green core, you know, the healing core should be work as well. Or if you want to go for freaking HP for damage, you can go for this one as well. And also, again, nothing is also stopping you from using something like the joints, because you can still use the joints and still be fine. And for new players, you definitely want to use something like, well, actually this might not be the best because it does decrease HP, so maybe not. I guess for new players, see if you can get a core that, you know, that like a purple core. Yeah, see if you can get it now. But if not, I guess you can use this for now. But just know that it decreases HP, and, you know, you want him to have higher HP to get higher. So the moment you get a better one, use use one of the core that I talked about. You know, use this one, or not this one. Like if you are able to get like a moon badge, get something like this, right? Get something like this and it'll be a lot better, right? But for new players, yeah, if you don't have anything, then I guess this one, or get the one with the one that adds the most amount of HP. Let's say if you have this thing, right? This can also work as well because it adds HP, a good amount of HP too. So yeah. But for now, for top player, just I think this will be the best, and second by the and second by the healing core, and then some other ones. Of course, it also depend on the pilots too. Of course, yeah. And now for the bullets. This one that it says will work because again, you don't need anything mostly. You can even use this one on it for lowering enemies action cooldown. This might work as well. Or if you want to go even more on survivability, you can even use the claws. Yeah, you can even use the claws for even more survivability. And if you want to, you can even use this one for damage. You can, depending on what you have. This one is really not that picky, right? Just get the best one you have, or actually build your team first, and then pick the pick the bullets for Hound Stigma. Personally, I'll probably go for the one that they recommend me, maybe, but I don't think I will, because I don't really think, because again, I think I guess I will build it to where I would probably use this on something else, like a more offensive unit. Not that this unit are not offensive, but I just want it to be on the field to give to enemies. So maybe I'll go for something like a claw, maybe, because I'll get into what I will go to for the pet, and you guys might know why I will be going for the claws. And of course, the claws also increase the damage range, so that should be good as well. And for new players, though, obviously you want to get what's it called, the one that you probably get pretty easily. So where is it? Where's the absorption shell for the parts? Absorption shell. Yeah, this one. Oh wait, no. Where is it? Where's the parts that can give you HP back for doing let me see if you can find it. That did them yet? Okay, I am not sure where'd that go. Yeah, where that went, but hold on. I'm gonna use Ian real quick, just try to find the the parts real quick. Yeah, give me a second. So should be a B shell. B shell. This one. Energy absorption shell for new players. Just get this thing. And even more. Yeah. Even more survivability on your Hound Stigma. So yeah, that's what you if you don't have these higher tier parts, right, get that just for even more survivabilities. Also, I think I see some chats, just know that I'll answer the questions after I finish talking about the whole things, right? So, and then now for the support, obviously the battery one I think works, but I think for now I think you definitely want to go for the batteries, because again, with the damage reduction being nerfed thing or being fixed, using batteries might be a bit more safer, but nothing is stopping you from using something got ammo HP for more damage, right? Again, depending on your team, depending on your build, depending on how many of this you have, you might want to use it on other units first, and then go back to Hound Stigma, because Hound Stigma can also work if you just add HP using it. And for new players, you can probably use HP like this thing adds 10% HP. It's pretty good already. So yeah. So new players, see if you can get this blue padding things, and for top players, obviously just try to use this batteries if you have it. But if you other units want to use the batteries more, then obviously the drill, if you have the drill during the collab of Resol, or you can just use this one if you just for some CC abilities, and of course some, not that this unit are scared of CCs, because even when it gets CC, you can still see the enemies. So yeah, but I'm putting on batteries just for the the best PvP or the safest PvP build in my opinion. So, and now for the armor. Because of the nerf from the damage reduction, I'm just going to play a safe and go firm seal just in case if something happens, right? But if you have firm seal somewhere else, let's say if you have firm seal on your palette, on your on your pets, on your co-pilot skill, then you can obviously use some better ones for him, like for example the HP part, which will be a massive increase to its both abilities if you have firm seal somewhere else already, as well as just a damage increase, because again it's HP scaled with damage reductions. And if I don't think you will need the shield one, because again it can already destroy a lot of the shield things, or a lot of the bullets on the field, so I don't think you need to show one. So just between this HP armor as well as the firm steel, but usually firm steel will be the safest option in my opinion. But again, if you are using your firm steel somewhere else, then of course you can use the parts. So And now for the freaking coding. Now the coding is a bit more divisive in my opinion, or it's for me, but because once again, because of the nerfs or the bug fix for the damage reduction, I am going to be using Gaia coding, because Gaia codings I think are just the safest one. You get some heals and you also get final damage reduction. For now, also hold on, let me also turn this thing off. There you go. All right, so you also, yeah, so where I'm at, I think it's the safest one, but if you want to, you can use corrosive parts, especially if you don't have all 4 of the Gaia code. You can still use the HP, you know, the max HP. I think it's anti-corrosive, yeah, anti-corrosive parts coating on it, so you get more HP for more damage and of course more survivabilities. This is what I'm gonna, but I am gonna be putting on Gaia just for, you know, the absolute safest option. But just know that, you know, if you don't have, if your Gaia coating is on something else, then use anti-corrosive for more HP. And now for the pets. Now, I've seen some people using Pisces. I don't know why, because again, if you're using Pisces, then I think you'll be wasting, you know, some of his chances, you know, the berserk, you know, the different stages when your HP goes down, plus it can already tank a lot. Now again, you know, using Pisces might make it survive longer, but in my opinion, I prefer using Pisces on something else that doesn't require, you know, you know, because I want my Stigma to take damage, right? To take some damage, not all damage, but some damage in order to, you know, activate, you know, some of his skills, right? But so that's why I'll be using some other ones, you know, including something like Scorpion for more DPS, or if I'm going for HP, yeah, if I'm going for HP, then I'll probably go for this thing. I'm not sure if this is in Ian yet, but basically this will deal it will deal final damage value extra equal to the max amount of HP you have. So if you are going full HP, or not the build I have right now, but if you're going full HP, then you can go for this pet as well for more DPS. And of course, you can use some other ones that that kind of like, you know, that increases, that give you a shield, but isn't like an extra health bar. That can give you something like this, you know, so something that can give you survivabilities, but not like prevent you, or, you know, give you an alternative health bar or something like that, right? So that can work too. Or you can just have it carry the freaking PvP pair or something like that. That can definitely work as well, depending on what you need. Or of course, if you have GMO1, you can obviously use GMO1 and, you know, use HP parts here, and that can definitely work as well. But personally, I'll probably go with this one, just because every 9 seconds it will give, you know, it will apply, you know, the extra 5 damage of the self max HP, because, and I think that's pretty good, because maybe not, because I feel like 9 seconds would be the times after, you know, his activation of the, you know, his activation of the roars, as well as the you know, his actions. So I think I'll be going for this one, even if not going for 4 HP build, but just know that this pet will probably be better for 4 HP builds. You know what? I might go for Scorpion. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. I think Scorpion might be a bit better, because let's say in a 1v1 situation, Scorpion goes over anti-4 CCs. So if you can, you know, in 1v1 against another Hound Stigma with the same build, the one with the Scorpion will probably be better, because it can CC the enemy a bit longer, because again, it goes through immunities against anti-4 CCs. So, alright, so, and now on to the co-pilot skill. Co-pilot skill, honestly, I might just go for HP. Yeah, I might just go for HP, because, and the reason why is because I don't have full HP parts here, right? So I'll go for HP in order to get more HP and damage overall. But again, this is more flexible now. You can do whatever you want at this point. You can even use this thing to carry freaking love if you want, right? You can even use this thing to carry love. You can even use this thing to carry other stuff, or just self buff with even more, you know, action cooldown CD, you know, whatever you want. It's a bit more, you know, creative at this point. I'm going for HP because of the extra damage, but again, you don't need to do that, especially if you have a better one, or, you know, especially if your team needs certain co-pilot skill, like certain support skill, then you probably should use that certain one first, depending on your team, because, you know, who knows who knows what your team needs, right? Because everyone is different. But you know what? I'll probably use the support skill. Yeah, I'll probably use support skill, like, let's say hers, right? Or maybe not hers. Let's say like a better one, like let's say like her, right? Like a good healing skill or something like that for allies, right? something like this might actually work. Something like her might actually, yeah, something like her might actually work. Well, I think she wants, like, I think she wants to have a special though. But again, depending on her team setup, right? Depending on her team setup, depending on who you have, if this is your only option, then maybe she's the best one. So far, so who knows? And let's say if you're testing against, if you're testing against support pilots or support skills, and if you found your Hound Stigma dying wherever you are, then go back to a defensive one. Whatever you want. Literally, you can even use something like Kalas if you want to. That can definitely work as well. So yeah, but I'm putting back HP just because just more damage and more survivability. So this is my general safe-ish build for Hound Stigma. Of course, depending on your situation, some builds are definitely going to be better depending on the teammate that you'll be fighting against. So don't just bang your head against the wall using this build. If you're failing, you got to change it depending on the enemy that you see. But against majority of the things without BSs, I think this will be the best one overall. I think, or not the best one, again, the safest one overall. Alright, so that's a PvP build. Let's get into the PvE builds. What else? Okay, so the red boss 1.5, don't use freaking Bahamut. They're anti Bahamut. Not for all bosses, but this one it anti Bahamut, so I don't do that. Yeah, don't use Bahamut. So yeah, kick counter will grab it one for the upgraded. I think Hound Stigma is better at that. Griffith is you probably can, but I think Hound Stigma can deal with more tricky situations. Even if Griffith has been more used in top PvP and top PvE, I think Hound Stigma, because of the CC potential and the roar and the quality of the roars, that can be a bit more useful in my opinion. So. Alright, now let's get into PvE builds. Now for DPS, something like this will be the DPS build. Now I don't know how much it switches. I don't think it switches its action that's open that much, so I don't think you should use this one. But if this one isn't better, then definitely use Majin Core for more final damage increase, and of course the sword thing for even more final damage increase. And and because this is for top PvE build against against conquest bosses, for new players, don't need to worry about this. This is again for top players for this build. For new players, just what's it called, you don't need to care much. Just get Firm Steel and your Hound Stigma can probably get through you a lot of stuff. So yeah, I don't think you need to worry about it that much if you are a new player. But this is for top player, for if they want to use it in top PvP. If you don't have Spike, you can obviously use Linda or something like that. But for now, I'm using Spike because Spike is the best one, and because Ian just got just finished just finished the Cowboy Bebop Secret Collab. So. And of course, more damage for the purple fist. You can also use a green one for the same damage, and for that gold. And of course, full HP. Yeah, full HP for more DPS. Yeah, full HP. Going for this HP thing. Going for this coating for more HP things. Because HP equals DPS on this guy, and of course for this guy is just even more final damage. Or yeah. Even more damage, 12% more damage on enemy. If you don't have it, you can obviously use Iron for 10% damage afterwards. If not, you can also use something like just a Flaming Rabbit for more cooldown CCs. So depending on what you have, depending on what you have. Probably not Scorpion, because your Scorpion job will probably be someone else's. But depending on what you have, I think this one is better, because this one's a flat 12% increase, because I don't think it does explosive or fire. So alright, now for the co-pilot skill. Now co-pilot skill, back to you remember the Goddess pilot, the best DPS as a free pilot somehow. Of course, using her attack will be good because of the raw damage increase will be the best for it overall. So that's just the that's just the PvP or PvE build right here, because just a pure damage stacking, just high damage. And of course, since you're using Spike, you also want to use for your ally, for the allies in the team, you also want to use parts or support stuff that can either increase ally, you know, stats or decrease enemy stats, you know, over and over and such like that, in order for you to do even more damage, right? Or just even something that can increase your own you know, your own allies max HP. That might work as well. But again, that would depend on your PvE, your PvE build at this point. So yeah. And of course, if you don't have Spike, you can always use Linda. Linda is a pilot that'll always be, you know, here to gettable. And at this point, you can probably you probably just get the one with the highest, you know, DPS, like for someone like her, right? For higher DPS. Or you can also use, you know, you can also use self reduction. Yeah, where's self destruction? Self reduction for more, you know, fluid, actions. And I haven't tested yet, but if you test it with even more HP increase, let me know if it does more damage than purely than other ones. If it does, then that'll be pretty funny. But for now, because I don't know if it will do more damage, then I'll just go for something like this, just for more, you know, just for the maximum, you know, damage increase for Linda. But I'm going back to Spike because Spike is the best DPS now. So yeah, Linda now is your backup DPS after, let's say if your thing is dead. Is this mech OP? Yes, new player, you should get this unit 7-star. You want the second chassis and you want the second weapon. If you didn't get to 7-star, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry if you don't get to 7-star. Even at 5-star, it is already usable. Especially, you know, you can use it in limited arena, in Fast limited arena as well, but it might not be able to carry you through as much of the stage. But just know that even at 5-star, it should be already carrying you through a lot of stuff because of the mechanic of the war roar. So all right, let me go back to the best DPS skill so far from the free pilots over here, and there you go. So that is the PvP or the PvE build for the DPS. And now let's get into the PvE build for a support or for a debuffer. So for the support, you want it to, the reason why I do like this is because you want it to come in later. You want one of the unit to die, right? For your, you know, for your Hound to come into the field in order to activate his you know, his stealing of the enemy's stats, because, you know, boss doesn't appear right away, right, in boss conquest, so you want it to come in later on. And at this point, it will just be a build like this for you to, you know, because if you're using Hound Stigma, you're probably gonna be using a Griffith as a DPS using Spike. So a Spike Griffith as a DPS and Hound Stigma as the, you know, as the what's it called, as the what was I gonna say, as the Jesus Christ, my brain is not great. My brain is not great. As the, yeah, as a boss CC and as a support. So, and of course, at this point, your damage doesn't really matter. So I'm just going full, you know, action CD increase. So just, you know, hydraulics for more CD, and, you know, using the hammers for, you know, more CD decrease for the enemy. You know, for the enemy, I'm also using the drill so you can bump the boss a little bit to, you know, CC them even more from zero, just in case if something happens. And of course, you want to be attacked as, you know, as Hound of Stigma against the boss, so the boss can get force knockdown and have all their projectile to be gone every 4 seconds. And of course, using you know, Scorpion to CC the boss even more. And because you're gonna be using Spike Griffith as DPS, you probably also want to use him to decrease the enemy's his attack in order to decrease enemies, you know, stats. So that is, of course, you can use other, you know, Kobriska depending on, because, you know, you might have, you know, you might already have him on someone else, right? Then you can just use some other PvE skill, which, you know, other people like shoot that it'll depend on the boss. And I think you should ask people who is in top PvE in EN to know about that. And of course, I know not everyone has, you know, not everyone have her, but any support pilot would work, because Hound of Stigma should be able to carry you through, like, if you build it well, it should be able to carry you through, or as long as you're not using it as a funnel, it should be able to carry you through, it should be able to carry your support pilots. So, if you don't have her, obviously you can use something like Slokai. Slokai also have an attack for you to use something like, you know, where is he? For you to use his attack as well, and that will work too if you want to. But for now, I'm putting it back to Sasaki, you know, for to her, because she is the one with should be the best one still so far, because again she can also increase, I think, HP for allies, so you can probably increase your you know, your Griffith spikes HP. So, alright, now let's get back to him, and then yeah, alright, so that should cover every single thing about, or every build, every single thing for Hound of Stigma. I'm losing my voice, man. I've been talking for so long. And one thing I want to talk about is also this. Now this wouldn't really matter until, you know, Jesus Christ, until Griffiths come. But when Griffith come, you will see a difference is that because Griffith increases your stats based on, I think, your ally stats, and Griffiths, you know, sucks one of the you know, the enemy stats. So they actually can like work with each other. So you know, so for example, I guess no, the damage will be different, but because the activation differences between I guess, because like I guess the order of your mecha matters because of the, you know, because of the activation, you know, sequences, because you know, because all the skill activate at the same time, right? There will be like a slight difference on the activation times. So what you want is you want to let Griffin stand on the left of Guts in order for you to get the full, or I guess the full suction of the enemy stats, which again is pretty important, especially, you know, comes with, you know, stats that matters with, you know, like especially against enemies, enemies her, right, that have a lot of, you know, skill that plays into stats. So yeah, so definitely look out on that. You and now I don't know how to visualize it exactly, but definitely just test it. See if you can find like a test to see if you can find a way to see if the stats, like if they do, you know, if they do get the same stat. Like I don't think you need Griffith to stand directly on the left of Guts. As long as it is on the left, it should be fine as far as I know. So yeah, that's just something to look out for. Now the difference isn't that much, but you know, you never know in this game. You know, sometimes some RNG, the little differences can make or break a game, right? So especially with potentially new future pilot. Now, though they might already be outdated once those pilot comes, but you know, you never know about the retro and such, right? So we'll see. And of course, and just, you know, knowing more about the knowledge of this game too. All right, that should covers everything. Finally. I am so tired. I'm losing my voice. I am gonna die. And let me now read the things. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna store a voucher report. Hope I get her. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Roll freaking what's it called? Roll. Wait. Yeah. Oh, come on. My brain's not even working again. But yeah, definitely roll the worth it pilots, okay? Yeah, roll Hound of Stigma or future collab, you know, Gunbuster or something like that, you know, roll those units, definitely, you know, stay for those. Don't roll Tamamo Mai, because, you know, you want to know, those who should roll Tamamo Mai are the one who isn't gonna be asking that question. So if you're gonna ask if you want to roll for Tamamo Mai or not, then the answer is no for you. If you don't want, like even for top players, right? Even for top PvP players, if you consider if you should get Tamamo Mai or not, then the answer will be no, even for the top players. So yeah, yeah, you know what? I think so from the leaks, but you know, who knows what may happen. So definitely, you know, stay tuned on that. I'll be updating, you know, you guys on that, you know, news as well. So all right, that should be everything. I think I need to call it a day because I'm gonna freaking die. So okay, I don't think I want to stay for too long to ask questions because I need to go through some waters. If you have any questions, just ask down in the comments or ping me in our Discord to ask me now. The timestamp for the video will be out soon. And for now, I'm just gonna, I need to die, and yeah, I need to And it's oh 9-star. Wait, 9-star Hound Stigma, that should be fine. Yeah, 9-star Hound Stigma it should be fine. But well, if you're gonna be using Hound Stigma as in PV, in PVE, right, as a support or as a boss CC, then definitely don't upgrade the weapons. And you can use the extra copy for 5-star limited arena. He should be pretty OP there as well. So yeah, but if you don't care about PVE, then just use 9-star all the time and it should be good. Yeah. Alright, yeah, I need to freaking die. Right, we need group 2. I hate the fine. Oh, you don't need it. Yeah, you don't need it because Hound Stigma can still be a DPS. It is 10% less than peak performance. Yeah, if both at peak performance, then Hound Stigma is about 10% less DPS than Griffith, which I think it should be more than usable. Even in the top PvP, even in the top PvE level, especially when I don't think matter, because save these things, right? Save these super vouchers or the event super vouchers, right? Because I think you can use them on Griffith as well, as long as we're following NC's schedules, right? So don't get tricked by these things. Save them until until Griffith, and definitely check the expire in 31 days. And Tamamo will only be here for 20 days. That means if this banner changed into Griffith, you will be able to use the free vouchers on it, as long Ian follows NC's schedule. Alright, yeah, I really need to go now. I'm dying. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching, and I need to die. Please like this video, like and share and everything, and yeah, goodbye.